What's up, everybody? It's your girl Kiwan, and I am back with Soul Food Season 1, Episode 4, What Women Want. Before I start, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video. Make sure y'all like the videos, y'all, so I can stay in the algorithm. I cannot see. I gotta find my other glasses. Stay in the algorithm. Y'all, I'm still on the road to 1K. I'm 60 subscribers away, so I'm almost there. So y'all, let's just get me up there. I am trying to get to 1K. Other than that, after I get to 1K, I promise y'all I'll stop counting until we get to these big numbers. Anyway, shout out to all the new subscribers. I hope y'all like my channel. I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't have to be around here. Y'all can be anywhere else. But y'all decided to come on over to the hood, and your girl appreciate it. So thank you, and welcome. Thank you for everybody who has been here, everybody who hasn't left. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody. Okay? All right. So y'all know I'm doing soul food. Once I catch up with all of the episodes, then I'll start hitting it weekly. I'm just trying to catch up with the season 1. So right now 10 episodes has already dropped. So I've been trying to do it and trying to get all 10 so I can be on track. Okay? I'm going to do the entire 5 seasons because I like this show, but I don't remember it. It's been so long. So, yeah. Anyway, y'all, let's just get right on into it because I got a lot to cover and I still have other reviews to drop. The episode starts with the guys. They're out listening to music. They're at a club. And it's Kenny, Kenny, Lim, and his cousin Jack. And I want to say Damon was there. I forgot. But the guys was there at a club listening to some live music. And so there is a musician, and we see after he finished playing his piano, his piano, doing his 1-2, singing, all of his groupies come up on stage and they just slobbing him down. So the guys are just, watching and commenting. And they feel like women will lose their shit over singers, and it doesn't really matter how the singers look. A woman still will give up the cat. And I was like, that's not true. But somebody gotta defend the ladies, because y'all ain't gonna be sitting here talking about these ladies like they a bunch of hoes. Meanwhile, the main hoe is the guy that has all the groupies. It is what it is. Anyway, everybody seems very free spirited to me, if you ask me. So they also, Lim makes a comment and says that women don't know what they want. And I'm looking at the singer, and I feel like the musician, the head musician in charge or whatever, and I was like, he really is pulling them, and he did give a 2 at best. Okay, at best. So the guys didn't lie. They didn't lie. I wish I had pictures to kind of put up, y'all, but I am working on. I'm trying to get better with content. Really am. So I'm working. It's gonna be a while before I get extremely better on my content. Anyway, Jack said he has figured women out, and the problem with women is, he said the reason why women are the way they are and they don't know what they want, blah blah blah, is because they want to have anal, yada yada yada. And I'm looking like, what? And so he started telling Lim and Kenny that they need to go to their wives and let their wives know, hey, you want to get down like that, let me put it in another place, and you'll know that women are down for that. And I'm looking at Jack like, ill. Like, Jack just very crass individual who thinks he's so above, but in reality he's just a trifling criminal who wears his detective job as a literal badge of honor when he a real life criminal. I mean, well, he a dirty cop. That's what we gonna go. He's a dirty cop. Anyway, Lem tells the guys that he haven't had any in 2 months. And that's because Bird has not been cleared from her doctor. So, yeah, you're not going to get anything in 2 months. And to make that a complaint and to make that a thing is trash. Like, this lady has not been cleared. And I don't think Bird had a C-section, but still, we all know when you have a baby, you have to allow your body to heal. And a lot of times people don't do that. And sometimes when women don't do that, you'll see where they'll get pregnant immediately and they have their baby, like their babies are months, like 6 months apart, like, because they haven't allowed their body time to heal properly. Anyway, I'm no doctor, so don't take no medical advice from me. So Lem finally arrives home, and Bird shares with Lem that she'll be headed back to work tomorrow in a few hours. She was up at night just kind of stressing, and he was like, what's up? And she lets him know that she'll be going to work tomorrow for a few hours, just to get reacclimated back in the shop. And she let him know, listen, Max is going to keep the baby just for a few hours. And she said not only will Max keep the baby for a few hours, but she'll do that while you look for a job. And Lem, of course, the episode cannot survive without Lem having a shitty ass attitude. Okay? Lem, he gets pissy once again. And he was like, so you told your sisters before you told me? And she was like, well, what's the big deal? She said, because eventually it's not like we don't need the money. So when she said that, he really lashed out. And he was like, so because we need the money, since we need the money and I ain't making no money, my opinion don't mean shit. And it's just like, huh? That's what you got out of that? It's like he's just taking everything out of context because he's pissed off. First of all, he lying to Bird. Let's just keep that train going. He continues to lie to his wife about his whereabouts. He's not even looking for a job because he keep working for both of his cousins doing some illegal stuff to get him possibly sent back to jail. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I don't remember. But, again, you keep working for your cousins because you can't find anything legit. And I understand that. And I understand, that you need the money. But you also need to have some patience. Like, at this point, you also need to have patience. But you also got to stop taking things out on your wife. It is not her fault, and you're also mad because you're not getting any. She cannot sleep with you because her body needs to heal. Anyway, I get annoyed because Lem is projecting, and I feel like you using Bird as a punching bag, but whatever. In the next scene, the sisters are at the court hearing. Terry has to be the attorney because Josephina wasn't available. Both attorneys are presenting their opening statements, and Max and Bird are literally trying to have a conversation with Terry while the opposing attorney is doing his opening statement, which is distracting because the judge can actually hear them. So the judge stops and tell both attorneys to come to the front and let Terry know, hey, you need to tell your clients to be quiet. And I was like, yeah, girl, quiet on the creek. That's my song. So we get to the next scene. Jack hooks Lem up with the with that illegal shit with the woman named Vicky Wu that we're gonna meet later. Again, this is some illegal stuff that Jack connects with to get some things as a detective. Him and other detectives, they get illegal stuff, and this lady does things. Instead, you won't put her in jail because she helps you in a way, but you put other people in jail. Like, I just feel like the barter system is crazy, and I feel like Jack is just crooked as they come out. I also feel like Jack don't. I do think that we use the word love when it comes to family. I think still in family we use that term so loosely. And for Jack and Franco, is it Franco, Jack's brother Franco, for them to always wanting Lim to risk his life and risk his family to do some bullshit for them, I just don't feel like that's love. I think they look at Lim as the criminal fuck up, and it just feel like they act like they're a little better than Lim, but we'll get there. Anyway, Bird make it to her first. She returns back to the shop, and these hoes is in the shop running a damn muck. Like, whoever Bird left in charge, you should be giving them their walking papers, because the way the shop should have been run when you left, that's how that shop should have carried on. But they decided they wanted to add things that Bird didn't had definite no's when it came to her shop. That is her shop. And I feel like you doing things even when she's not there. I still feel like you were, the staff was still disrespectful to Bird. Disrespectful as fuck, if you ask me. So they had loud rap music. Bird don't play rap music. And I get it. She's not there. So why can't they listen to rap music? I get it. But you knew she was coming back the next day. None of y'all had the audacity to move these things and to fix the shit back to normal. Y'all just kept everything going as if it was a regular day. Y'all didn't even have that much respect for Bird to do that. Not only that, you, who's supposed to be running the shop, scheduled Bird's client that you had set in for. You've been doing her hair the same day Bird returned. And I just feel like that's pretty fucked up. Like, why would you do that? Anyway, I just feel like, Bird, you need to get in there and get a little straightening going. Like, you talking nice to this lady and holding her hand and be like, oh, that's okay. No, the shit is not okay. It's not okay. Anyway, Lim goes to do the job that Jack sent him to do, and we meet the culture appropriating Vicky Wu, who's a scamming ass Asian nigga. Okay, since she want to be one so bad. So what is she creates stolen, like, bogus credit cards. Technically, they're stolen. She creates these bogus credit cards, and she uses the client's name from somewhere from her job. She used them out of the database from her job. She steals their information, put it on a credit card, and you have a certain window to go in a store, like an electronic store or whatever, go shopping and bring those items back, so then they can sell those items for, I guess, the retail price. I was like, oh, hell no. Like, Vicky, in that small amount of time, worked on my nerve. Just the culture appropriation of it all just pissed me off. So over at the shop, Bird hadn't seen any of her clients. Nobody has come in. She kind of feels away because she's been gone for 2 months. And I think she kind of feels out of place. And I just feel like the disrespect for Bird in her shop with her staff was so damn loud. I feel like it was so damn loud. Anyway, Lim goes to Jack and he confronts Jack about the stolen credit card situation with Vicky. Lim started to tell Jack the truth. He said, listen, you ain't no better than me. So Jack decided he wanted to get on his high horse, and he said, I put motherfuckers like you away for a long time. And he said to Lim, me and you don't have nothing in common. He said, well, if we don't have nothing in common, then why you doing this? I was like, exactly. So Jack couldn't say anything. So Lim goes on to tell Jack, I can work a steady job. The same thing Jack said to Lim, that's the same thing he said to, I keep forgetting Jack's brother's name. But that's the same thing he said to Jack's brother. And so Jack kind of wrote that off. He was like, yeah, I know, but this is only temporary, and it gets food on your family's table temporarily. And I was like, wow, why can't you help your cousin who has the felon, who it's hard for him to get a job? If you really loved him and you really felt like he should be on a straight and narrow, why can't you just help him get a job? Anyway, they continued to talk, and we found out that Jack actually slept with Vicky, and again, Jack is married. He's a nasty ass nigga. And he decided, after I fuck her, I'm gonna then slide her to my cousin. He tells Lim, oh yeah, you can have her because she does all of the things. And Lim was like, no, I'm not cheating on my wife. Then Jack goes on to say, oh, you don't cheat? Like, sir, you're the only one with no integrity. But the only reason you think you have integrity is because you're a detective. When the truth of the matter is, you ain't shit. So, again, Lim reminds Jack, if I get caught, that is a second strike, which is an automatic 10 years for me. You need to know that. Jack knows that. They know this. It is Franco is his brother's name. I'm going to say this again. It is very clear that Franco and Jack knows that Lim wants something steady. However, I just feel like they still see him as some type of street thug. They claim they family. They claim they love him. But I just don't see that. I don't see that. I don't know, as the seasons go on, if we're going to get more of an in-depth story between him and his cousins. I really don't remember. But it feels like Jack, for me, it feels like Jack and Franco have some type of resentment towards Lim. I don't know how their mom treated Lim, but Jack did mention that his mom favored Lim. He was like, you're my mom's favorite nephew. So I don't know if Jack and Franco's mom treated Lim just a little bit better than the sons, because we know Lynette, was it Lynette? That was Lim's mom. I do remember that. That lady wasn't shit. And I wonder if Lim had to go to the sister's house and she had to take care of Lim. So I don't know, y'all. I don't really remember, but I'm trying to remember. Anyway, Lim arrives home and he have a conversation with Bird. Bird is frustrated about what's going on at the shop. And this time he actually takes the moment and he takes the time to actually hear Bird out, and he listened to her. They then decide to they then have a playful banter. He did try to sleep with her, but she told him, listen, I haven't been clear yet. So he took it on the chin. But the fact that you can actually listen to her and not harp on her and not be such an asshole to her, that works. So then we get back to the courtroom, and Terry called the bookkeeper to the stand. There was a guy who was their bookkeeper for a long time. We found out that Lester actually fired the bookkeeper so he could keep the books himself. While all of this is going on, that opposing attorney was making all type of unnecessary noises because that bookkeeper was keeping it a buck. He was telling all the truth on the stand, because we know, yes, Jeremiah was an ain't shit man, but Lester Hardy was he is a terrible, old, conniving, ain't shit, lying ass, garbage old man. And in the next episode, I think it was the episode 5 or 6, we'll really see how conniving he is. Anyway, back over to Lem. So Lem goes into the store with the stolen credit card, and of course he is nervous AF. And he gets all of the products. He load everything up in a basket. He gets to the register. Lem is literally, y'all, shaking like booty meat because those things have to go through. He's thinking immediately that, if you look at Lem's body language, he's literally thinking immediately that these things are not going to go through. It's not going to go in his favor. And Lem probably thinks that he's going to get in trouble. But they actually go through. And so he leave out the store. It's like a load of things. And I still feel like that's kind of dangerous because they may not see the person that's creating those credit cards, but you see the person that is using those credit cards because there are cameras inside the store. That's crazy. So anyway, Kenny calls Lem to pick up Ahmad, and he goes to pick up Ahmad. And they stop at a basketball court to have a conversation. Ahmad is embarrassed because his dad comes to pick him up in the tow truck. And he feels like the kids at school are laughing at him and all of the things because he spent most of those episodes just complaining about school every day or wanting to fight one of the kids, or he had a fight with the boys or whatever. Like feeling like he had to defend himself. And so Lem put some things in perspective for Ahmad. He tells Ahmad, listen, look at the truck as your dad being hardworking and making sacrifices for his family. This is how he feeds his family. This is like, and Lem said, I wish I had a dad like that, but I never did. And so now Ahmad, because we know Ahmad has he's a child, but he's still, being around Big Mom, Ahmad always had that old soul. So, he's able to have the wherewithal to understand where Lem is coming from. So anyway, he chew on those things, and that was, I feel like this conversation coming from Lem, it allowed Ahmad to step back and be like, oh, okay, got it. So back at the courthouse, Lester is on the stand, and he's giving his testimony while he's being insulting about Jeremiah. And Lester knows how to get under Max's skin, and that's just to be an asshole. He knows Bird ain't gonna say anything, and he knows Terry is poised, and Terry has to do her job. He knows that Max is gonna snap, and that's why Max shouldn't be there. Like Max, yeah. So she gets up and she starts to go ham on Hardy Lester. And so the judge was like, you need to get her, like, get your client out of here. So, I mean, I think she told the bailiff to escort Max out of there. So, they go into Terry's office. And, or it could have been back at Big Mama's house. I don't know where, but they left. And so now Max wants to be on the stand. And Terry was like, you're not ready. I'm not going to put you on the stand. And so she was like, well, I need to be on the stand. Max is so super emotional that you're not realizing that you'll this case up for you and your sisters. But you're not thinking about that because once again, you're only thinking about Max and what Max wants. This is not just about you. Max aggravates me. Why? Because she constantly always wants everybody to be about her because she has dropped her life to make her world, her entire world, about everybody else. And she feels like everybody owes that to her in return. I don't know. Max is so super insecure. I eventually Max won't get on my nerves, I think. But for now, Max is very annoying. So Terry sits her in a chair and she does some mock questions. She questions Max as if Max was on a stand. Max couldn't handle it, so what does she do? She get mad, she get up, get mad, and she's immediately mad at Terry. Why are you mad at Terry? Terry had to show you that you are not ready to get on a stand. But you think you are smarter than everybody. Y'all, Max annoys me to no Max absolutely annoys me to no end, but whatever. So then we get to the next scene, and Lem tells Bird he goes to the shop. Lem he lied again because he's doing this work for Vicky Wu, and technically he has a job, but the shit is still illegal. Like he doesn't have a actual legit job. So he tells Bird that he have a job down at the dock, and he lied about being in the union. He said they have to do some things before he can get himself into the union. But for now, because he's working on a dock and he's not in a union yet, he's going to be getting money under the table as opposed to getting an actual check. I said, my God, what today? I don't even remember if Lem is going to get caught up in all of this, but we're just going to keep on going. Anyway, Max is home with Kenny, and she asks Kenny to hold her there in the kitchen. And so Kenny is just horny at this point, and they just kiss, and she just go with the flow, and they just in their moment. They in their wife husband moment. And so Kenny asks, can he put, because they was about to get it started, because they was both hot and ready. So Kenny decided to ask Max if he can put it in the other hole. And she said, try it, my kids won't have another daddy. And she got up. And she said, it's bad enough you want to put this in my hole, but then my sister want to tear a new hole in me. And I'm looking at her like, Maxine, fucking please. Because Terry did absolutely nothing to you. You are being dramatic. So she tells Kenny, so Kenny was like, what's going on? Again, Kenny is hard as a rock, but he asked what's going on. She felt like Terry was trying to show her up and reminding her how smart she was. Maxine, your sister was not trying to show you up. She was just trying to let you know why you shouldn't be on a stand, why you being on a stand would not have been beneficial to y'all father's case because you are too emotional. You feel insecure next to Terry, and that's a Maxine issue. That's not a Terry's issue, but yet you always want to make it everybody's issue. And if you can remove your value of being a wife and a mom and figure out who Maxine is, then you probably wouldn't be so angry at Terry all the time. It's like you have these moments where you get mad at Terry and then you realize you're not mad at her no more, and then you go back and apologize, which happened, which she did. So she's mad, and of course every time she's home she's mad at the sister. She take the shit out on Kenny. And so she asked Kenny for his opinion, and he was like, no. She was like, no, you look like you want to say something, so what's your opinion? And he gives her her opinion. He was like, listen, Max, I love you, but Terry is right. Like, and of course Maxine is mad, so she goes upstairs and goes to her room, and I'm just like, girl. So it's the next morning. Maxine goes over to Terry's house and just drums up this apology. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I was just like, what kind of fucking apology is that? She was like, I just want to make you breakfast. I'm good. Again, why are you positioning yourself as the martyr? If you're going over there to apologize, go over there to apologize. Anything else, you probably don't need to do. But just, an apology is okay because you was dead ass wrong. In my opinion. Maybe I'm just too hard on Maxine, but I don't think so. I'm trying to be light on Maxine, but she's not giving me a reason. So, the night before when Bird talked to Lem, she was telling him how she was feeling insecure and how she felt like she was out of place, and she felt like she needed to start all over because she felt like her place wasn't at that shop anymore. But Lem, he validated her feelings, and he spoke life into her and told her how great of a stylist that she was, And the next day, everybody was getting ready to leave. So she asked, she was getting ready to leave or whatever. And everybody else was leaving because the shop was closing. And so a client walked in last minute. And so she asked, hey, can you do? Everybody was like, no. So she had to do the lady hair, which means that was meant for you. Not only to build her confidence, but that lady was there to build yours as well. And to tell you to give you your reason as to why you are there. This was what this was for. This was purposely done. This was designed for this moment. So anyway, a client walked in the shop and she tells Terry, her story. The lady said that she was married for 7 years. Her husband left her for another woman who he probably was cheating with while he was married. And he's currently engaged to this woman. Of course he was messing with the woman while he was married. But their divorce isn't final. She was like, I think it was because I was too fat or I wasn't pretty enough. And y'all, when this lady said that, I just wanted to cry. Because we often think like that when we get in a relationship. But the reality of the situation is it's never about us. And I don't know who this is for, but I'm just going to tell you this. If this is you and you're in this situation, it is never about you. It's always about them. It is never you. It is not what you've done. You can do everything. And if a person going to do what they're going to do, if a person going to step out, that's what they're going to do. You can cook, you can do everything right. But somehow that person's going to do just what they want to do. And I just think, whoever, man, woman, boy, boy, girl, when you're in situations like this and it's so hurtful and detrimental to your mental health, and if it's detrimental to your physical health, where you're experiencing different ailments in your body because things are happening because of the stress and the amount of pressure that you're under and all of those things, and it's you're carrying things that person is bringing home to you. Do yourself a favor. It's the hardest thing but it's always the best thing, and you have to find the courage to move out of that situation. And let me apologize once again. By no means do I mean to tell everybody to walk away from their places. But if you're in a situation and you're always hurting and you're never happy, get out of those spaces. And it's not just relationships, it's everything else. If it's not suiting you, if it's not beneficial to you, figure your stuff out so you can set yourself up. Don't just walk away. Have yourself set up. Set yourself up for greatness. Set yourself up for whatever it is that you want and whatever you need, and you work towards those things, and then you move to that. But take yourself out of harm's way. That's all I wanted to say. Anyway, so Bird spoke life into the woman. She stopped her. She was like, no, I'm not let you gonna say that. I'm not gonna allow you to say that about yourself. The truth of the matter, and it's the same thing I just said a moment ago, that's what Bird told. The truth of the matter is, this person did just what he wanted to do. And that gave Bird the drive. It showed her, in that moment, she realized, this is why I'm supposed to be here. Not only when I do their hair, when they get up and they feel good, I feel good. But when they come and share their stories with me and I can help, that's probably even a greater feeling. So yeah, I think a lot of us experience that, where we just be like, man, why am I here? You have questions about what is my purpose? And I feel like whoever for you, it might be the universe, it might be, the little naked dude, the little bald, fat, naked dude. I don't know, Jesus, whoever y'all talk to, they send somebody, whomever your ancestors, and come to you and show you what your purpose is through. It's always through somebody. It's always confirmation. Whenever you ask those questions, I always feel like there is that layer. There's something that comes by way of those things, and you get your confirmation that you need for your purpose in life. So yeah. Anyway, so we get to the school. Kenny returns to pick Ahmad up in the truck. And Ahmad is trying to get to the truck because immediately he's mad. He's annoyed at Kenny. And he heard Lim, but he's still annoyed at Kenny because Kenny done came by, because in his mind he think those kids are laughing at him. And the boy's trying to get his attention, and he don't want to talk because he think that the boys are gonna laugh at him, and he don't want to fight with them. So he turned around as rude as he can, because as much as Maxine just aggravates me and she always getting on the Ahmad, that's where Ahmad gets his behavior from. Her. So anyway, Ahmad was like, what do y'all want? Like, I don't want to fight y'all or anything like that. The boys was like, no, we really don't want to fight. We just want to know if your dad can let us get in his truck. Because they thought that his dad's truck was cool. And so that puts a smile on Ahmad's face. Because these kids don't ride in tow trucks. These kids ride in nice vehicles. And they do this all the time. So that's not, so when they see this is what they want to ride in. Anyway, he feels away. So now, before he gets into Kenny's truck, his attitude has changed. His attitude is different towards his dad. And, Kenny was like, how was school? And he was great. And I'm just like, Ahmad, you just have such a terrible attitude to me. It just aggravates me, okay? I think I said that in the last review. Ahmad's starting to work on my nerves. Okay, I'm hoping that this is the little shift we get from Ahmad. Now, and him and the boys are good. Anyway, the courthouse. Okay, so what is happening now? Lester has to hand over his keys to the sisters, and he has to share the store with them now. And they both are part owners. So the sisters have part ownership, and Lester has the other, is has ownership in the store as well. Oh, Lester is pissed off. He is pissed off. And he'll just get even more conniving. I just couldn't wait for Richard Roundtree to leave. Okay, Richard Roundtree was a nuisance. Anyway, Lim arrives home, and him and Bird can finally, she lets him know, listen, I've been cleared. She take the robe off, and she got on her lingering. Her body was tea. Okay, her body was tea. And I was like, y'all just in the middle of Terry living room, and he was like, where Terry? She at work. She gonna be working with Lee. I get that, but y'all just in the middle of Terry living room about the fuck for a buck, and the way Uncle Pete have dementia, and for him to walk down the stairs and to see y'all doing stuff, it is so disrespectful. And y'all don't even know what time Terry is going to come home, but she working late. If y'all don't care, I don't care. And then to add more insult to injury, y'all on this lady's sofa. Like, y'all not gonna put a sheet or nothing on a sofa and just on the sheet? No, cause y'all got y'all ass juices all over this lady couch. So they finished. So everybody got what they got. He got his guy. She got her guy. Okay. So Bird tells Lim, she want him to be honest. He was like, the one thing I do want from you, I want you to be honest with me. And he says yes, while he continues to keep this lie alive. And this is where episode 4 ends. And I was like, y'all will not stress me out. Okay. This is crazy to me. Okay, I am going to try to be done. I promise y'all this, for real. I want to try to be caught up with the next 6 episodes before the end by the week. It's just been a lot work, and all of that is just a lot sometimes. So yes, but tomorrow I will do Next Gen NYC. I will do episode 5 of Soul Food, and also I will do Heart and Hustle Houston. So I'll have those 3 drop tomorrow. Anyway, that's all I got, y'all. This is your girl Kiwan, reminding you to keep showing up, keep growing, stay true to yourself, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.